It's Friday, my dudes. Let's watch this together and comment about this debate between Myron and Steve Crowder. I don't know Steve Crowder at all. I suppose he's gonna be for monogamy. I know Myron a little bit, but not everything. I just remember him from his golden age, let's say, when I used to watch some of his podcasts. Although I grew very different from what he was teaching. So I wouldn't say I would be on his side now. I'm myself in a long-term relationship, 4 years. However, I have an open mind. I'm hearing arguments from both sides. Probably already have my opinion, but all of that is boring anyways. Let's just jump into it and see what they have to say.
That's why I do what I do, is so that men understand that they need to be the leaders, and to be the leader, you need to have these things in place and also understand what you're dealing with on the other end, because women of 2025 are no longer the women of 1955, which guys make this egregious mistake and think that they are.
That's where we would differ. Is for me, the prescription is it is your duty as a man to honor her, to respect her,
of course.
to provide her,
Yeah,
to
of
protect,
course.
and I would put in there monogamous.
As long as the guy's making that decision and he's monogamous because he wants to be, I'm cool with it. I just don't want guys being monogamous because their wife tells them, oh, you better be monogamous because X, Y, Z.
That is.
Yeah, so the premise here is that Crowder, Steven, let's say, he's saying you have to be monogamous to respect your wife. But Myron says, yeah, you can do that, but you can also not be monogamous. So let's see how they defend their positions.
Do you ever get in hot water? Because you're a lady, lovely, fetching lady. I think like a lady out there. I don't want to speak out of turn. Does it ever hurt you in your relationships where they hear you go like, we're all players? Do you have to say you're going to go back and she's like, you have some splaining to do, in Sudanese?
Well, yeah. Yeah, she'll say it in Arabic. Oh, come on, no, we need to talk. So they don't, because like I'm very open about that. Like I tell girls.
So apparently he has a Sudanese wife or girlfriend, and maybe he has more than one. I have no idea. We'll see.
All the time, I'm not going to be monogamous to you. I tell them all the time, men lead, women follow. And, and I do want to be important, because this is another thing that people kind of misconstrue about me. I don't tell guys to run out there and be like a womanizer, like forever. I just want guys to be able to understand women. And I understand for you to truly be able to understand modern women and the way that they move nowadays. Unfortunately, like religion and culture and all the things that used to keep women in place, the church and shame, all these institutions are pretty much gone or eroded significantly. So like women are incentivized to be whores nowadays. So I tell guys, look, get in a position where you understand women, where they can't hurt you, like whether it be with marriage or the divorce court, or, you're paying alimony or child support. Understand.
Yeah, I have to cut more often than I would like to, because otherwise YouTube might flag this as if I was just sharing something without adding any commentary. So right now I'm just going to say, yeah, religion is not the same as it used to be. But let's be honest here. I mean, even in the past when there was religion, people were still cheating on each other when they had the occasions. I think it's more social media than religion, than the absence of religion, that is the cause of the change we've seen. It's facilitating meeting strangers that has mostly done that, whether people believe or not.
And then go in with your eyes wide open. And unfortunately, in today's day and age, I think guys do have to get a level of experience when they deal with women, but I just want them to do it on their terms versus doing it on the woman's terms, which is what most guys end up doing in society.
I think that's good, because I know you've had conversations with, a friend of mine, Andrew Wilson, and
yes,
we agree on a lot of the, I think you're unabashedly red pill, you would say. And then
okay, so Andrew Wilson, I know who he is, so I kind of see then how Steven is placed, let's say, on the ideological spectrum.
I get lumped in with that, whereas like we would have very different prescriptions going forward. But it sounds to me like you're saying
we all identify the same problem.
The same problems. Yes, exactly. And I think that's where we kind of diverge, and we can talk about it. But that's actually good for you to clarify, because I've heard you say like, bang a lot of bitches, to use your, your culture, your colored nomenclature.
Yes.
But you're basically saying do it on your terms. So if you want to be monogamous, if you want to not be promiscuous, then make sure you're approaching it the right way, where you find that kind of woman. But if you want a whore, then, go to the horse store.
Yeah, and be able to identify them. So this is the thing.
I mean, so far it's pretty, how can you not agree with this? Like, everybody wants the type of relationship that they want, that's fine. I'm pro-choice in terms of your type of relationships. You do whatever you want, as long as you're honest with people, you tell them, and you're straightforward, that's pretty much fine. So far I have no problem with that, and they seem to agree, by the way.
That so I get in a lot of fights with a lot of conservatives over this topic. So like one of the things, right? So I have 5 things that I think every guy should have, and I think we might have even had a discussion on this before a couple of years back, and it hasn't really changed too much. make 6 figures a year, at least $100,000 a year as a guy, be 35 years old, have 6 months to 1 year of savings, be in good shape, and have sex with 50 women. Now, this 50 women thing is what has a lot of people.
It's the fifth thing.
Yeah. This is what pisses a lot of people off. Now, this 50 isn't a hard and fast 50. I just want it where guys are able to get to a point where they understand women to the point where they don't get into a relationship with a girl and she's telling them like, oh, you're not going to get any nookie unless you take out the trash. Oh, you're not going to get XYZ unless you do this. So I don't want guys to be in a position where their girlfriend or their significant other can leverage sexuality for compliance from them, from his perspective.
So I hope Steven is going to tell him that you don't need to have most of those things to be in that position. It's all about how you think things. Now, where I might agree is that if you're not in a position of abundance, where you don't really have choice, you don't have options to have sex with women that you find attractive very often, or at least often enough, then it's hard to convince yourself that you don't need the woman. We've all been there in that relationship with a person that we thought was out of our league, and they just control us. I mean, whether they want it or not, we're just needy and a slave. But the way out of this is not necessarily by having all of that experience or all of those things. Primarily, it's in your mind. If you truly believe you deserve to be treated good, then you don't necessarily need all those things. But to each its own way to get to that point, of course.
She should be giving that to you all the time, and she should be actually the one trying to initiate if you do everything right correctly. And the reason why I say guys need to have these 5 things is because in the age of Instagram, in the age of dating apps, in the age of where women have all these opportunities, relationship and sexual opportunities, you need to be what I call like an entry-level higher status guy. And these 5 things will put you in a position where you can at least be the leadership figure in that relationship where she's going to respect you and most importantly submit to you guys, submit to you. So that's why I say these things. Now, could it be 20 and you'll be fine? Could it be 10? Could it be 1? Hell, could you even be a virgin and maybe understand this stuff? Sure. But what I've realized is like most men don't really figure women out until they've had a significant amount of experience. And I've noticed it to be somewhere between 30 to 50. Now,
do you mean that relationally or do you mean that sexually?
Sexually, so that you understand women appropriately, so that you can identify. It's like, like we look at World of Warcraft, right? Like you got to kill the little like monsters or whatever, like the shit wants to level
up. I thought we were talking about women. You went to World of Warcraft.
This is the problem
tonight to women.
How many women do you have if you're World of Warcraft?
Yeah, well, you got to kill the like little.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of all women drying up.
Or like
every man that has become good with women, I believe all of them used to be nerds. That's my hot take.
You spar with a bunch of people in boxing, right? So that when you finally have that final match against the boss, like you know how to appropriately, duck and weave and do what you got to do to be able to win the fight. Because I do think like when it gets to marriage and long-term relationship, that's going to be the hardest thing for you versus just womanizing. So you need to understand women's strategies and proclivities and everything else like that. So I think having that number and having that experience will, number 1, put you in a position where you're attractive. And then number 2, give you the prerequisite knowledge and sexuality where women can't leverage sex against you anymore. Because so many guys are like, I got my I'm going to do whatever she wants. And that's like the beginning of the end.
You've been talking with Robert. He says that.
I mean, agreed. Most of it.
A lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
he says that. I'm like, Robert, you don't understand the dynamics of female-male interplay. But I will say, I get it. And then the Christian right prescription is, hey, you know what? The truth is people figure out sex. And the truth is people who are virgins who get married and then have sex, have fewer partners, are sexually happier. Now, maybe because they don't know what to compare it to.
They are.
But so what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I also think
ideally,
that
just for clarity, ideally, if a guy and a girl can get together and be virgins, that's the best scenario.
So you would say that too?
Yeah, statistically speaking, that is the best way. But me being pragmatic and understanding how women are nowadays, where the average 21-year-old girl is going to have more sexual partners than the average 21-year-old guy, like I can't in good faith tell guys to get married as a virgin and them not being destroyed because they don't understand female nature and how women are. And like, unfortunately, the church, religion, society, shame, all these different things that used to be in play back like in 1955 are no longer in play in 2025. And women have no reason to really sit there and submit to you and do what they're supposed to do because they're incentivized to not.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, yeah, that's a fair point. And I mean, what can I say, to be honest, guys? I'm trying to add some commentary here, but so far, everything he said kind of makes sense. So we'll see if we have more points of objection later on. But I mean, if Steven and Myron agree, I can say it's fairly good to assess that, well, they're probably right? If they're aligned on something, it means it's a fundamental truth. We'll see again if they disagree on anything else here. But again, I have to make commentary. I'm going to stop saying that, but just in case you missed it, this is necessary, unfortunately, on YouTube.
me ask you this. Oh, sorry, go
I
ahead.
was going to say, is do you think? So I think you're right. We have identified kind of one of the problems in society.
Yeah. Dry skin in your.
Is that what it is?
No, it's gone.
All right, thanks, appreciate that.
Yeah,
I went like this. I scratched my nose right before we went on the show. Yeah, exactly. Do you think though that there is a way
That's unfair because I don't think he has makeup, and Steven has makeup. So
to incentivize guys to only look for the right women, and eventually this problem goes away because women won't be able to find any guys because they're not looking for women that are sleeping around. They're actually looking for people that have some character and some I don't know the qualities in women that we've always looked for. So instead of incentivize like saying, hey, go out and sleep with 50 so you understand them, just say, just don't play their game. Just find virtuous women, and therefore we will get rid of this problem by doing that.
The only problem with that is that so when women run game, what they do is when they find a guy that they like, they'll sell purity. And we all know, like, we sell success.
I've seen those
they sell
stories,
purity.
yes.
So like my thing is like and this is another reason why.
All right, what about an app, a purity app? Follow me here. No, I'm just kidding.
You could ask some questions to it, and then I can.
Dating a water filter? What is that?
But yeah, like the thing is, you guys need to be able to identify when girls are lying to them and they're selling purity. And this is why I tell guys actually like date a girl for 6 months to a year before you ever like claim her and make her your actual girlfriend and actually getting serious.
yeah, that's something I've always done myself. I mean, not always. That would be lying, but you have to be patient. I think it's Joko Willing that said that in one of his podcasts. He said that guys' biggest mistake is to get into a serious relationship just because the girl is cute and she's nice. She's nice to you, she's cute, then she's the love of your life. I mean, is that really all it takes? You need to be patient and gather data points. That's how he said it. You gather data points to see if this person on a longer period of time is actually the person that she claims to be. It's the same thing that girls do also with guys, by the way, but maybe they have, for some of them, a quicker judgment to decide if you're worth it or not. Okay, but in general, that's the biggest mistake guys do. So try to avoid that. So before settling with somebody, get to know them. And this is where I would separate myself from the advice of a lot of people, including people like Jordan Peterson, which I respect a lot, but who says that, you know, you shouldn't test drive your relationship before getting married. I mean, to be honest, I don't think he has enough experience with the problem of having wrong relationships to be able to say those things. Because personally, if I had gotten married with some people that initially went well, I can tell you it would have been horrible. Like, some people are fundamentally incompatible. And if one day I have the chance to talk to him, I would just ask him this question. Why would you say that? Well, at the same time, you are a specialist in personalities. And you know that some people have orderly personalities and others have disorderly personalities. And we know how when you live with somebody, if a person, he's very irritated by chaos in the house, like some things are misplaced, for example, then there's going to be fights all the time. And then how do you reconcile two opposite personalities? You know, you have to give a simple example, at least live together for a while before deciding if you should get married. To me, that would be the bare minimum. Have sex and live together for a while and then get married. Usually I would say after 6 months, you know, you should know. If you have done that during 6 months, you should at least know if there is some future here. That's what I would say. Anyways.
Because you need time to see where she stands in her characteristics. And then another thing I tell guys is like, see if she does acts of service. Like, will she do things for you? And because a good woman is going to come in, see parts of things that you're doing that could be optimized. Like, for example, let's say you like coffee, right? But she shows up at your house, you don't have a good coffee machine. She just takes the initiative and buys you one. Right? Yeah. Or she has a cup always ready for you when you wake up. Little things like that, and you don't even have to tell her. Like, that's a really good sign, because now she's becoming like almost, I always say men need to be problem solvers in the real world. Women need to be problem solvers in a household with the guy and making them better, so that they don't have to think about the little things, so they can go focus on the big things. That's where I think a woman is best. And people get mad at me when I say, oh yeah, she needs to basically be your assistant. But I truly do think like women thrive in that assistance role, because it puts you as the masculine leader and the dominant figure. It puts her as the subservient, which is what they want anyway. And she's helping you become better. And I think that's like the best way it can go. But guys won't be able to identify these types of women or be able to figure this out until they date them.
I mean, the best thing to do depends on the context and on the environment. You can't tell men the best thing to do is this. It depends. Again, some women have more masculine attitude or personality. I see it all the time. Some men have a more, maternalistic attitude, and they will maybe have to share tasks in a bit more even way. It's not, you can't just think like that. This is where I would diverge. You have to be more pragmatic. He says he's pragmatic, but this to me, saying it's best this way, unless I misunderstood, but if he says it's best if the woman focuses on solving problems at home and the guy focuses on solving problems outside of home, yeah, most of the time it's true, but we can't just think that way. We have to just be pragmatic. You discuss with your partner and you say, well, you observe, first of all, where do people seem to be at ease the most? My girlfriend, she loves to cook. I don't mind doing the dishes, so we share the task this way. I'm not thinking, oh, I'm supposed to make more money than her and bring bread home, so then she will do the dishes and the cook. No, I mean, it depends on the time, it depends on your means, it depends on all of that. So I think we just have to say to people, just be pragmatic, just do the things, and as a team, you share responsibilities and things according to your strength. That's much more pragmatic, and it fits every situation perfectly.
Them for a good amount of time and see where she stands with these types of things.
Do you think, because you said women's nature, and again, we would agree on the descriptions, maybe not the prescriptions. Well,
Sure.
I still think finding a chaste woman is ideal, but I also agree, blind spot, women lie in the modern world because sometimes they're going against their nature. Their nature is not to be, is a term you use,
Hypergamy.
Hypergamy.
Yes.
Okay. They don't want to be sluts, put it that way. They don't want to be dime store whores. A lot of them don't, right?
I
But
agree.
they've been told that it's empowering. And so sometimes women are trying, the same way that guys who simp and say, hey, I'm soft, I'm sympathetic, I'm sensitive, they're trying to fill an archetype that they have been told is appealing, which actually flies in the face of our nature sometimes.
Yeah.
And we see more people who are sort of acting anti-naturally, women acting masculine, acting tough, boss babe, and men, and I don't want to use the term beta, but men acting weak and subservient, and no one's happy because it's all a fake out.
No, you're actually precisely correct. I say it all.
About that, I recommend that you look into I think it's called the Utopia experiment. I can't find the terms again, but it's Mouse Utopia. Mouse Utopia, you type that on YouTube and you will find an experiment that's been done in the 70s, I think, with mice, and it's revealing. And all of that will make sense to you.
All the time. Feminism is the blue pill for women, right? So for men, right? Blue pill guys are simps, feminine, think that women can lead and, they can, do certain masculine things and they can like defer that to her. Like, yeah, it's okay if my girl like bosses me around and tells me what to do, like, cause they're idiots and they don't understand female nature. Same exact thing with women. The blue pill for women is feminism and thinking that chasing a career, acting like a man, being masculine, challenging your husband or challenging your man is like, empowering. That is the blue pill for them. And they bite it even worse because advertisers and society in general, like women are easier buyers. Like they're the target demographic for advertisers because women are the consumers.
Yep.
They like to extract value, and with them, they are you. When I always say like when you lie, women buy, and that's what they do. That's why like with the Gillette commercial, we can even put in the clip here if you guys want.
Which one, the tranny mustache one, or the one the guy's like, you shouldn't actually tell the woman she's hot? Which one?
Boys will be boys.
The one, yeah, the boys will be boys one.
Yeah.
Bullying, a problem among kids here in Indiana.
We can't hide from it. We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy?
Impact sales.
What I actually think.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And in that commercial, I love to use that because that commercial exemplifies the problem that we're in. We have a men's razor company, right? A men's razor company literally shitting on their target demographic of customer to appease to women. And if that doesn't prove that women are the majority consumers and they run, we live in a gynocentric society, I don't know what else does.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have you seen advertiser making huge mistake due to ideology? I mean, this to me doesn't prove really that point, but okay, whatever.
And I always tell people like, well, they're like, oh, why is that a big deal? Men do need to be better. A lot of guys are, toxically masculine, whatever, because that was one of the commercials that pushed this whole toxic masculinity thing. And I'm like, all right, well, what if Victoria's Secret did a commercial saying, hey, stop being sluts, Stop cheating on your boyfriend. Stop being attention whores on Instagram. Like, start making those goddamn sandwiches. Do you think Victoria's Secret would have a problem? They probably would. They'd
We'd all be losers
broke.
because it would be out of business.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't.
Okay, guys, so far, I gotta be honest, this is kind of boring. I thought there would be more disagreements. I don't know. Should we continue watching this? We'll continue a bit, but if I have nothing special to say, I guess I'll just stop it in the middle. It kind of, or maybe I will skip to some passages who seem a bit better. I'm not so interested in the myth of toxic masculinity, to be honest. Feminism in the church, I mean, I don't know much about that anyways. I don't think it's so universally relatable to people. Defining female double dip, I don't know what that is. Crowdistic and discussion, yeah. Listen, let's just go straight to maybe here. If we can. Unless there's a plot to sabotage my video. Oh, why is it not working?
So that men understand that they need to be the leaders, and to be the leader, you need to have these things in place and also understand what you're dealing with on the other end, because women of 2025 are no longer the women of 1955, which, you know, guys make this egregious mistake and think that they are.
Yeah, that's where we would differ. For me, the prescription is, yeah, a woman should, and if she does provide those things, it is your duty as a man to honor her, to respect her,
of course.
to provide her,
Yeah,
to protect, and I would put in there monogamous.
Yeah.
But you know, I will say that
as long as the guy's making that decision and he's monogamous because he wants to be, I'm cool with it. I just don't want guys being monogamous because their wife tells them, "Oh, you better be monogamous because X, Y, Z." Like,
well, I understand your problem with it too.
Yeah.
I understand, because the truth is, if a man,
Listen, it's very simple. On an individual level, you can totally decide to not be monogamous and pull it off. If you're an attractive man, you can do it, that's fine. But if you start thinking that way, you go into a society where some men have access to a lot of women and they take those women out of the dating market. Okay? They say, you are my wives. You take them from the dating market, and every society that goes in that direction collapses. It's very simple. Why? Because it causes a mass of men that are deprived of sexuality. And with their sexual urges, it causes problems because those sexual urges do not disappear. You might argue, well, today with modern technology, they might just satisfy those urges with AI, with robotics in the future, etc. That's a possibility, I agree. Maybe the future is going to be about a small minority of men who have most of the real women. Some of those real women themselves have a few men that are simps. And under all of that, we have a group of unsatisfied people that just release those urges into virtual world, etc. That's a possibility. But probably this is going to happen in some countries, and in other countries, we're going to teach men, or men somehow are going to get out of the social media, going to get out of this bubble and going to go back into the real world, maybe because they're not going to be satisfied actually with the virtual stuff. And so they will get back into this natural state of I'm talking to women. And this is, by the way, my mission. I would like to reconcile men and women by making dating fun and easy again. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I believe that it's not that hard. It's not that complicated. It's just content creators make it way more complicated than it should be, because they have to post content every day. So of course they have to innovate. They have to create new concept. They have to contradict. They have to shock you, etc., etc. Okay, so to be simple here, if everybody was aiming for monogamy, and if everybody was aiming at trying to be a better person, ultimately society as itself, as a whole, will get better. And the countries that focus on that teach the right message, will get better overall. The countries that don't will collapse.
And if a man commits to monogamy, and again, I fully support monogamy, not like this bigamist over here. I'm half thinking that's how you know it's a cult if someone gets to bang everyone at the top.
Yeah.
But
That's a power grab.
I will say,
It'd be like the Branch Davidians, man.
Right.
Come on. Yeah. That's what we're here next to Dallas.
There you go. Yeah.
Not too far away from Waco. Like, come on, man.
I don't think you'd want hypergamy with those people.
No.
But I will say, like, if you promise monogamy, which I believe should be promised, the problem is you are promising something that is like 80% of the equation for a woman. If you're a man worth, committing to, and we do have to understand relationship dynamics. There is leverage at play sometimes, and you've given that all up. Woman's like, if I know this man is a good man and he is going to be monogamous, I can use it against him. I'll summarize it this way.
Absolutely.
I have, despite what people try to say, you can even look at court records, never laid a hand on a woman, never would. But I've been with women who have been with guys before me who hit them. And I've said this where I've gone, you know what? I'm not going to. And the messed up thing is, I know that's being used against me. I know that you're talking to me in a way that you wouldn't to your former Puerto Rican boyfriend or whoever it is.
Yep.
That's where it gets politically incorrect. But yeah, I mean that's a whole nother topic, right? I was thinking about something else, but anyways, I lost it.
Jamal.
And you're just like, and so what do you do? Like, it doesn't matter how stern you are. It's like you can be walked all over. And that is a problem that I think a lot of men just don't know how to solve, where they can be hit, where they can be cheated on. A woman can hit a man, cheat on him, leave him and take.
I mean, just leave, That's why it's probably what he's going to say, right? What Myron's going to say. He's going to say, well, if you're in a position where you can choose and you can then select who you want to be with, then you can just leave if the person gets to that point, which is totally true. And another thing, I remember what I wanted to say, what Steven said earlier when he said that you are in a position where when you offer monogamy, you actually are more valuable. That's so true. The fact that my girlfriend is so in love with me, it wouldn't be the case if I was not monogamous with her. Of course, as he said also very well, if you're already a man that is worth being with. Okay? Most guys today are either like Myron, or they're either like those mass of simps and unattractive men. That's the biggest, the two groups that women have to choose from. It's very rare when there's a guy like Steven, for example, who is worth it and also monogamous. It's so rare that makes you instantly wettable, marriable. I don't know how we say it, but it makes you instantly husband material. And then you just have to sift out the wrong partners, the wrong prospects, and you will be with the right person. That is how it is. So if you can work on yourself the way that Myron says it, so you work on your skills, you don't necessarily have to make that much money or to be, that elitistic, let's say, but if at least in your immediate environment, in your social circle, in your social media, or in your town, whatever, you are a person of value, because you're fun to hang out with, because you're safe, where people can rely on you, because on top of all of that, well, you are monogamous, then suddenly you're going to be one of the best prospects they can ever dream of. And women, don't get it wrong. Women are humans like you. They've been hurt like you. Deep down, they just want to be happy with you. If they do not date you, it's because they don't see you as that potential partner that's going to make them happy. And most of them have very reasonable demands. They want a guy that is normal, good in his head, that has a sense of responsibility, that is an adult, okay? So she can rely on him. She can rely on him if things go wrong. She can rely on him if, in the future she gets old, he's not going to dump her, he's going to stay with her. She feels like he genuinely cares for her, but at the same time, she can rely on him also because he has a spine. He's not easily baffled when she pushes back against him. It's basically, to summarize it, it's being a dad before being a dad. You see, if you can have a dad attitude before being a dad, just imagine the ideal dad that you can imagine having if you don't have one, then that's it. That's simply what you have to do. If you can do that, you will never have any problem ever.
Take half, and so they're checking out. And so I do think that the Protestant church has come up short with a lot of solutions. Now, I certainly wouldn't go to Islam, but
we smack our women. No.
I know a lot of you do.
We Sean Connery them.
Yeah. So I do understand that. I still think that is what we should strive for.
Okay, so Myron is Muslim and Steven is Protestant, so that sets the ideologies already.
And I don't think that going down the path of polyamorous relationships is
Fair.
a solution, but I get it. And I remember going, ooh, the fact that I'm not, because in other words, it's a promise I've made to myself where I'm not going to swat you, where if you were a guy, you'd be going off the balcony, and I know it's used against me.
Yeah. And since and I'm glad you said that, since we can no longer use violence to curb women, shucks. We have to stop it. We have to, oh man, damn it. We have to use something else. And what I always say is the only leverage you have as a man is your ability to walk away. Now, am I saying, guys,
Yeah, what I was saying.
Right. And that's what I was getting at.
run around and smash a bunch of girls or whatever? No, but you being able to not be monogamous is what keeps women in line. Because I always said, when you have other women in line, your girl will be in line and follow what she's supposed to do, because she knows that you can get up and leave because you keep your sexual market value high. You stay the
Can we
guy.
change the language? Because I agree with what you're. Do you think maybe it might help if you change the language to, as opposed to like getting what you want? Like, in other words, if you are going to meet her expectations. In other words, like if she gets what she wants, she has to meet expectations. Because women think like, hey, you're treating me like a dog. And I understand where you're coming from. But it's true. It's like, hey, we both have expectations. You got to meet yours. You can't hold me to a promise if you're not holding yourself to yours.
Yeah, no. And the problem is that guys don't hold, make sure they don't hold the woman to a standard, which is
the legal system.
All those problems get away when you become an attractive man in general terms, as I've explained. When you have options that you can choose from, and you just refuse to settle with the person that does not respect you, with the person that doesn't genuinely love you. Before I met my girlfriend, I was 2 years single after my previous girlfriend. During those 2 years, I was meeting girls every weekend, whether online, offline, all the time. Talking to girls, approaching girls, whatever. Making friends, making sex friends, etc., etc. But I never settled with anybody unless I was absolutely certain, at least without a reasonable doubt, that this was worth it. And even then, when I found my girl, we were not really in relationships the first months. We were still exploring, as I've said earlier, gathered data points. And then when I saw how sweet she was, how in love she was, I saw that this was a genuine opportunity at a long-term relationship. But even now, gotta be honest, it's been 4 years we're together. Let's say in the next year, in 2026, I start to see some things. Well, then I will have maybe to admit that maybe this cannot work longer, and then probably just walk away. So I don't remember why I was saying that, but this basically completes what he was saying. Not sure what he was talking about.
And forbids it.
Yeah, precisely. And she has every incentive to actually break said contract. So
yeah,
what I tell guys is like, this is why you got it. This is why I'm so big on you. You need to go to the gym. You need to make money. You need to be successful. You need to have all these things in place where you're an attractive man. And most importantly,
yeah, I was just saying that to avoid those problems, you just are in a position to just say no to the wrong people. The best way to be with the right person is to say no to all the wrong people. And of course, to meet enough people.
Other men respect you and other women want to be with you. You walk into
but enough about me.
And women are looking at you, right? And that helps because now your girl sees, oh, she's given a constant reminder, oh, I'm with the best that I can get. Because I always look at women as like, they're kind of like, they're the buyers, right? So like if you get a call.
Well, of course, yes. I made my girl jealous in the beginning. One of the parties we went out, I made her a bit jealous. It instantly made her more attracted by me. But literally, I mean, she doesn't have to see me talk to other girls to realize that I'm a man of value. She knows it, and just in my everyday actions, I reinforce it. Just by continuing to be the person of value that I promised. If your value, and this is the core problem here, if your value is inherently tied to the fact that you can have sex with a lot of women, but nothing else really, okay? Meaning, okay, you're a popular guy that sleeps with a lot of women. Maybe you're a little bit cool to hang out with, but there isn't much else than that. So she aims at you because she's like, well, if I sleep or if I get him, then the other girls will be jealous. I will be the queen, let's say. He's the king, I will be the queen. Well, okay, but then that means that once she understands that he's with you, then she realizes you don't have other value than that, then she will lose interest. So she has to constantly see that you're still attractive to the others. I mean, all of that seems very fragile. On the other hand, if you are a guy that, yes, you can have access to other girls, but just as a byproduct of you being a great guy, then you will just focus on staying a great guy. She will see that you are, and she will continue loving you forever. I mean, to give my example again, I'm in this relationship, and it's not one day without her telling me she loves me. 1 week without her telling me how grateful she is to be in that relationship. And I know you can't fake this after 4 years, right? So yeah, that's my core message here. You don't have to sleep with other women or to show that you talk to other women to keep your girl in love with you. That is unnecessary, and it can backfire actually.
Car, right? You get a really nice car, right? As the woman, right? I'd like to normally make the women the car with the high mileage, but we can go ahead and do it on the other side. So if she feels like she bought a car, right? And everywhere she goes, this car is getting, people are enamored by it, asking questions like, "Oh my God, so how'd you get that?" Blah blah blah. That's that thing is rare. What blah. Like she's constantly getting attention and compliments on it, or like people are looking at it. She knows that she got a good deal. But if she's not constantly being reminded that her guy is that guy, she loses attraction a little bit.
Yeah, that's really considering women like stupid people. Seriously, I mean, you really don't think they don't know when they are with a catch? I mean, yeah, they might, in the moment, they might be annoyed by something you did sometimes, but that's human. That doesn't mean they will break up. You see, there's a large distance between maybe her sometimes being mad at you or lacking respect one time or something because of something that happened, which, by the way, you can put you can stand your ground and show that you're not a pushover. But there's a distance between that and then breaking up. He seems to say that if she's not constantly reminded of how lucky she is, then the relationship will end. That's bullshit. Finally, we have some contradiction here.
And that's the thing that's kind of sucks with women, which is another thing I need to tell guys is like, because they don't understand this. Women are attracted to status and women are attracted to men that already have other women. We don't need that because we're decision makers on our own and
No. The women that you have in your social life may be like that. Especially if you're an influencer, what kind of women do you think is going to gravitate around him? If you had to guess. He goes to clubs, maybe not anymore, but goes to clubs, goes to parties, goes on dating apps, social media. What kind of women are there? That gives you a hint, right?
we're capable of like independent thought. Like if, for example, right, let's say all of us were single, you guys weren't married. If Gerald saw a hot girl and down the street and he's like, oh man, she's hot. And we said, dude, she looks weird. What are you talking about? He'd be like, fuck you guys, I'm going to go talk to her anyway. He doesn't need us to co-sign that girl for him to be attracted to her. Women aren't like that though. They need to, they might be attracted to you, but if they see other women attracted to you, it goes even further. So they need like the community to approve of you. And there's a bunch of biological reasons for that. But
it can increase her interest. But I mean, if she's already fully in love with you, this is what I was saying when I was saying it could backfire. Because if she's already in love with you, she is fully attracted, she's in for it, and then you will start to make her anxious by showing you might leave. Remember when I told you that there is a middle ground, if you're a guy that is attractive and monogamous, meaning that you're attractive and she can trust you, then it's the perfect middle ground. It's a sweet spot. Why would you then ruin that by showing her that you're talking to other girls, by making her insecure? Now she's suddenly not as in love with you. She's anxious. She's afraid. She starts to, there is this background noise now instead of this peace, this continuous peace. So that's where also, again, I don't agree.
It's a competitive drive.
It's a competitive drive for them. So guys need to be that dude where, and this is where the monogamy thing kicks in. Fine, you want to be monogamous, that's fine. But she needs to know that you could leave her at any second. And I think that's what keeps women in line because you can't smack them anymore.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to let him answer. I'm sure he's going to align with me here.
Okay, but let me ask you this, because this is, and I know people will be, no matter how we have this conversation, people will criticize me and you and vice versa. Mm-hmm. Because I'm totally fine. I'm trying to be as fair as possible.
Toxic misogynist.
But does love enter into the equation? By that I mean, let's say, for example, you're General Patton, right? And you're the baddest mofo on the block, the person I can think of.
Yep.
And then you get hit by a car and you need some help. Are you saying that women would leave that guy because he's not desired by other women at that point? Or do we allow for, hey, knowing that he was that guy and knowing who he is, but sometimes you actually do need to be each other's support structure?
Yeah, no, of course. I'll say that, if she's a good girl, she's going to stay by there for you. But I think every woman is going to have a time clock, right? Like, how long will she sit there as you're like, disabled, not able to provide and have that security? And I think this is like the more carnal and, bad side of female nature.
This is sad, really. So we all have a nature and we all have nurture. That's basic philosophical concept. So, for example, okay, I'm very mad at a guy. I want to punch him in the face, but I'm civilized. I've been educated to not do that. I will not then do that. Does that mean that with that concept in mind here, every time there is some nature, people will systematically obey that? No. I just proved that no. Most people are civilized, some less than others. Some have more prefrontal cortex controlling their instinct, their basic instincts, than others. And that means that a woman that genuinely loves her guy, if we get into a situation like I explained, that woman, if she was really in love with him, she will stay with him. She will stay with him. Okay? They might adapt. All right? Maybe she'll get some social security money. Maybe the family can help also. Now, sure, if her basic survival is threatened, then she might have to make hard choices. I agree with this. But if it's just a matter of, he's not anymore the guy that was really providing, that doesn't mean she will leave if she has genuine feelings for him. How many times have we seen? I mean, we've seen those examples so many times. I think, if I'm not wrong here, Stephen Hawking was like that. Like, he had a wife. There's even a movie about that. Don't get me wrong, right? That happened exactly like that. Like, he went into this. I mean, so many people get into that. They get cancer. They get into disease. They get paralyzed. Their girlfriend stays. And the girlfriend still loves them. And they're super sad when he dies. I mean, I'm really concerned by the type of women that Myron has been hanging out with, to be honest. Like, yes, they have a biological nature. Yes, they have a tendency. They might want to do things. A woman wants sometimes to cheat. As a man wants sometimes to cheat. But they don't do it because it's their nature. They refrain their nature due to their nurture, due to the things that they built, their identity through time. I'm a good person. I'm a loving person. I love my boyfriend. Blah, blah, blah. That's going to make them stay. That's going to make them do those things. His speech, and that's his big problem, is always about nature. It's always about nature and never about how nature isn't driving everything. There is more than that. It just tells me a lot about the kind of women he's been hanging out with.
Where women are literally designed to like find the strongest man and align with that. So like if you can no longer provide that security that you used to, it's inevitable that she's going to lose a level of attraction for you at some point. So that's why I always tell guys, like if you lose your job or anything else like that, like don't cry in front of your girl, like figure it out, talk to your guy friends, don't cry to your girl, because women are literally.
But that doesn't mean nature doesn't exist. That's why, to a point, it's true that you should always make sure that she doesn't have to fight her nature all the time. Okay? So you make it as easy as possible for her. But that doesn't mean that if the conditions are not perfectly fulfilled, she will leave immediately, or the clock is ticking, etc. All right? It's a balance of things. Okay? Make sure you are the person that truly loves you. Is going to eliminate a lot of those uncertainties here, and then make sure to just continue being the most attractive version of yourself. That's the recipe. I just gave it to you. Here it is. It's gold.
Designed to be, repulsed by weakness by men, because that affects their security. So like if they see you crying or they see you get beat up by another dude, even though they might say, "Oh no, open up to me or I'm going to support you," there's like some visceral reaction in the back of her brain that's going to say, "Oh, this guy might not be able to protect you. You might need a change. And I've had so many girls on my show. We've had like 4,000 girls now at this point. A lot of them say,
You personally?
yeah, on our show.
On the show, you're
Yeah, yeah.
different
Oh, yeah.
number.
Yeah, girls that we've
You're
talked.
like Magic Johnson.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
He's not banging
I mean,
dudes.
I
I'm
didn't know.
just kidding. Magic Johnson straight as an arrow. Great movie theaters. Please continue.
His son not so straight. But yeah, so like one of the things I've always noticed is like when girls like lose attraction for their guys, there's some like this one pivotal point. It's either he lost his job, he cried in front of her, he showed weakness, and then she just never looked at him the same, and then the attractiveness just dropped off from there.
Yeah, again, it's a balance of things. That can still happen, and the girl still loves the guy. If her attraction for you is like right at the top, 99%, she really loves you, and this happens, yeah, it's gonna dip a bit for a moment. It depends also the reasons why you cry, the reasons, all of that depends. It's of course tied to certain logic. The more you show weakness, the more you show that you're not anymore the attractive guy she used to view you as, the more it's gonna go down, go down, go down. Of course, then, because of that, a lot of guys are middle ground. A lot of couples are not especially in love, right? Most of the couples are not really in love. Maybe one is, but the other is not. Most of the time, it's the girl that is not as in love to the guy as the guy is in love to the girl. Or, I don't have numbers. But basically what that means is that the majority of couples will be in this gray area where an event like this that he explained can tick things to the other side, if you know what I mean. Like it can tip the balance. And so because of that, then that's why the majority of cases where a man has been crying resulted in an ick and loss of attraction.
So I'm not saying every girl's going to leave you when you're in that vulnerable position, but there's definitely a time clock that's starting.
So is there ever, because a lot of people say, well, that seems cold and bleak, and I hate to use the word transactional because all relationships are transactional to some degree.
Sure.
But is there a scenario where appropriate, assuming confines, assuming expectations have been met, where a man can be vulnerable or should be to trust that woman? Can she ever cross that threshold in your mind?
I think vulnerable, but in ways that won't necessarily hurt you. So like, if you have a dog and she sees how much you love your dog and how you show so much affection to it.
Yeah, this is where we can literally see, I will actually put more light. This is where we'll literally see that he hasn't been hanging out with normal women. or the stories that he heard were stories where the girl was not really in love with the guy.
But and she sees the soft side, that's a good way, right? We're being vulnerable because it shows like you're caretaking.
Think about it. If she's fully in love with you, she's finally happy. She has found the guy that she was looking for this whole time. She's like, this guy is perfect. He's exactly what I need. I love him so much. You go a few years like that together. And then the guy starts to cry for something. He shows a bit of weakness maybe. What is her first reflex? What is the first thing she's thinking right now? She's thinking, okay, get back on your feet. Please go back to the place that used to be where you were attractive and all of that. I want you to. Pay attention, that's the nuance here. It's not, oh man, he's not at all what I thought he was. Now I have to leave. No. It's, please, come back to the place you were. Come back to this attractive guy. I understand you're living through a bad time, but I want you to become that attractive guy again. I want you to come back to that state, please. She's on your side. That's my point. She's not your enemy when she's in love with you. She wants you to succeed. She wants you to be attractive because she's so happy to have found you. That's the nuance. If you agree with him at this point, it's because you haven't really had that relationship or saw people in that relationship, in that dynamic. Now, I'll agree with you. It's not that easy to be in that relationship, to find that relationship. But, I told you it took me 2 years. And if you count the fact that before that I was with relationships that didn't work out, then maybe more in 2 years. But I'm just saying that if she truly loves you, that's not relevant.
or with your children, you know, playing with them and showing that you can be a very loving father. I think this is good. But like when it comes to like you as a guy, like crying or showing any type of weakness, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do about these bills, blah, blah. I think most women would prefer for you to just solve the problem silently on the side and she doesn't even know about it, then bring that problem to her and have her help you with it. Now, am I saying that she'll leave you? Of course not. No, right. She'll be like, yeah, let's go at this together. It's us against the world. Some women will embrace it and love it.
Yeah.
But you don't know because every girl's different. And until...
Okay, finally, we have some nuance here. In that case, I agree here.
They're until they're met with that problem, you don't know how they're going to respond. So I look at it like, why roll the dice, right? We were talking about revolvers earlier. Why play Russian roulette with your relationship, right?
Okay, yeah. That's a good summary. In that case, I agree.
Why, if you don't have to? Because women respond so strongly to security or a lack of it. I wouldn't even chance it.
Yeah, and I think men respond in kind of to stability that's created by the woman in the home. That's a really big thing. I mean, either you're out sowing your wild oats, but when a man settles down, like he's only settling down because he wants stability in his house that he doesn't get from the world, and that's super important. That's both sides of the equation.
And for her to have to feel like the house is going to be stable, she needs to know that you're stable too, because you're the reason why she has the roof over her head. So like, I look at it like when you have your problems, your masculine problems, you should always go to your guy friends with it, never to your girl or to your woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop here. I don't think there's more. For those last words, I agree. Shoot in the comments if you want to say anything. If you are one of my 400 followers, I have a small channel, but I'll be happy to hear and see your comment, or mostly read your comment. Sorry about the pacing of this video. It's more of a chill video here. I just thought maybe you'd be interested in my opinion if you've liked what I posted so far. But yeah, what can we say about this? I mean, the most important part, of course, was that last part here when Steven gave his opinion and was not necessarily agreeing with him, but most of the time they kind of agreed. So this doesn't seem like a debate, really. But that's because Myron, he has this this two-faced attitude towards women, where on one side is saying, hey, yeah, do whatever you want. Of course, do whatever you want. However, this is the best way. I mean, I think at this point it's just a difference in ideology, right? He believes that being in a non-monogamous relationship is perfectly fine. I believe it's not on a societal level. I think we need to take our responsibilities. It's the equivalent of saying, hey, I'm unemployed, but that's fine. I don't see why I should be employed. It's not bothering you. Well, yeah, but if everybody start thinking that way, well, then everybody has a problem. Same way if you say, oh, I don't want to have children. I don't know why that's a problem for you. Well, yeah, if everybody does that, then what's the future going to look like? You know, you have to have a sense of responsibility towards society and do your part. And if you say, oh, I understand I could be with more women, but I decided to be monogamous because I know it's better for people in general, even though it might not be exactly what I want right now. But I found this girl, she's really in love with me. I really love her. She's perfect in my sense. And I will be really happy in a relationship together. Then, you know, you just follow that road. And it's just what separates us from animals. It's when we start to think globally with the effect we have on society and not just towards ourselves in the immediate moment. I'm caricaturing here. I'm not saying he says exactly that, but you see my point. Anyways, if you like this video, put a like. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. This is more of a, you know, off-series video. But in any case, if you liked it, let me know. And see you in the next video.